Erik, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Keith.
I'm excited to talk to you because we last chatted like 3 years ago about Tulip, and it's awesome to do these videos where we can see progress 3 years later. So, if people aren't familiar with the company Tulip, your tagline, you're building the premier frontline operations platform. So, what does that mean? What does the company do?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we want to give people who run the front line of operations the right tools to do their job better. So, we believe deeply in citizen development. We believe that the people who are closest to the problem, who know their operations inside and out, are also the best positioned to solve these problems. We're all about giving them the right tools and making their jobs easier.
So this is obviously focused on the manufacturing industry, which is a very complex industry, and this is a complex platform. So how does it all work?
Yeah, well, the way it works is, so our platform is a no-code app platform. What that means is that if you know how to use PowerPoint, if you're comfortable with Excel, and you understand if and else logic, you can build applications that solve very specific problems in your operational environment. You can then connect these applications with one another to create this, this mesh network of software that solves very specific problems in the operation, but also captures really important and hard to capture production data. So, if a line went down, why did the line go down? If a machine is off, why is the machine off? A lot of times this information has to be combined across both, the machines and the people who are actually working in these environments. So like first pass yield of a product, quality defect data, production tracking, these are some of the use cases that our customers take on with Tulip.
It's working in an industry that's vastly underserved, that being manufacturing. So I think Tulip has really made a major impact to the ability to automate a lot of the processes.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You step into many of these production environments. I mean, if you think about it for a moment, everything that we interact with in our day-to-day lives was built somewhere by someone. I mean, it sounds kind of obvious, but if you actually stop to reflect on that for a moment, it is massive on a scale that kind of defies comprehension. And if you were to step foot in any of these environments, what you see, it's like stepping back in time. It's as if the internet never happened. So you see pen and paper, you see checklists, you see visual, printed work instructions, you see grease boards, you see stopwatches and tickers. It's kind of wild to think that if you were to approach an engineer today and say, hey, I've got to solve this very complex data problem, they're going to say, okay, put the supercomputer in your pocket away, put that down, and let's pick up a pen and paper and start doing some manual calculations. But that is actually the reality that 99% of manufacturing operations and life sciences operations globally are actually in today.
Right. So you've been with the company for about 8 years now. I thought it'd be helpful to talk about, how did you get involved with the company and your career progression since joining?
Yeah, well, the company's certainly changed a lot in the last 8 years. So when I joined, we were just fresh out of lab. I think we had, 5 engineers and 3 dogs or something like that. And when I first, jumped in with the team here, I really led a lot of our business development work. So, think first 10, 20 customers, figuring out what their pain points were and how we could help partner with them to solve their problems. And then, about a year or so into that, moved over and built out and ran our post-sales operations for what ended up being almost, 4 or 5 years. This is customer success. This is professional services, application engineering, support, account management, project management, as well as some other teams that evolved under the post-sales operation. And then a few years ago, about 2.5 years ago, moved over to my current role, which is head of product and ecosystem. Head of product is fairly straightforward. So that's product management, design, and operations. Ecosystem is a little bit unique to Tulip, but this basically describes all the domains that are adjacent to the core platform. So think about our product education, Tulip University, the knowledge base, our community, the developer program, our library of best practices, and things like this.
I think that's a perfect testament for how someone can shape and really grow their career at Tulip, and it speaks highly about your culture. So let's bring everyone up to speed on the state of the company. Where do things stand since we last chatted 3 years ago?
Yeah, well, I think last time we had this call, we were all working remote, taking
Yes.
calls from our bedrooms and figuring out how to navigate the pandemic. But we've been busy these last couple of years. So I think when we last spoke, we had probably just under 100 folks We're north of 300 employees today. Our headquarters is here in Boston. We've got about 30,000 square feet here in Boston. We also have offices in Budapest and Munich. So we've really expanded into a global company in the last couple of years since we've talked. And our customer base has sort of followed a similar trajectory. So north of 10x scale factor in terms of total customers served, as well as the total number of individuals interacting with our platform day to day to solve their problems.
All right, so you're continuing to grow, which is amazing. What's the culture like working at Tulip? What's the day-to-day like?
Well, we first of all, I think we're a very aggressive company, so we have ambitious goals. We work really hard to achieve that. If we look at the scope and the scale of the problem that we're solving, as I said before, massive total addressable market for us and massive opportunity to solve this problem, across frontline operations generally. And I think that sense of mission and that opportunity really drives the sense of urgency, the sense of focus, and the sense of mission back here at Tulip. So Tulip is a very transparent place. It's a meritocracy through and through. There's we don't do politics. We're here to get the job done, and we're here to work collaboratively to get that done. So, blameless postmortems. Yeah, we celebrate the ideas that are best, and oftentimes it's hard to figure out exactly where that idea originated from, but we work together and we work hard.
All right, so regardless of economic conditions, the top tier talent, there's always options in front of them to choose where they want to work next. So why should Tulip be on somebody's radar?
I mean, if you want to come in, yeah, I think you said it, you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but, if you want to come in and you want opportunity and you want responsibility and you want to grow, the best place to do that is a company that's solving a really big, hairy problem that is also growing. And that's certainly the case with Tulip. So, I think this is a place where if you come in and you want to be challenged, you want to grow, you want to increase, your total responsibility and the types of problems that you're going to be solving, Tulip's a great place to do that. The other thing I would say is this is the smartest crew of people I've ever worked with in my life. Maybe I shouldn't say this on record, but it's totally true. So, but like, it's not, I often walk into a room and feel like, man, I've got to be the dumbest person in this room, because there are a lot of just brilliant people here, and they're brilliant in all sorts of eclectic ways across the board. We've got phenomenal engineers, phenomenal product thinkers, phenomenal project managers and sales experts. So if you want to get in and be exposed to truly the best people who are working on really interesting and hard problems, grow very quickly, but then also maybe you don't know where you want to be in 5 years or 10 years, and you're sort of figuring this out, Tulip is still at the stage where you can see what are all these other roles, and we very much support lateral moves, promotions from within. So I think it's a really special place in that regard.
Well, if you are interested in exploring opportunities at Tulip, just to reiterate what Erik said, this is a massive opportunity. The manufacturing industry is going through radical transformation, and Tulip has the platform to make it all happen. So go to their company page on VentureFizz to see all their job listings. Go to venturefizz.com/tulip, and you'll see their job listings there. Erik, thanks so much for taking the time to bring us up to speed on all the great things happening at the company.
Hey, really my pleasure, Keith. Thanks for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. At VentureFizz, our mission is to share the stories of companies, their people, and culture. So if you're interested in more interviews with founders and executives in the tech industry, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.